evening. Trina Christine Mason here. I hope you have been enjoying all of my free underwater videos. If you feel by any chance that they have done some good for you and brought a smile to your face or any type of enjoyment, please feel free to send a generous donation. For my time and my energy, I am 100% funded by you. As you can see, I am completely non-scripted. However, I do have these things in the back of my mind, wondering if you are really valuing my time or if you are just simply absorbing as much Trina energy as you can for free and taking advantage of everything I provide for you. That is not for me to judge. I am simply here to be and allow myself to flow freely as I possibly can, without judgment, without condition, without control. So all the generous donations are just extra and icing on the cake and assisting me to fund my future, to continue my college education, as well as being able to afford to take care of others, especially my cat George, and in addition myself, and being able to fund my food and my housing and the little things that I am capable of purchasing that do serve happiness, such as special favorite shampoos or makeup, or little niceties for the home, such as a fluffy rug, or shamanic tools, or investing in the business of Trina medicine, etc. I do have the intention of making a few investments, such as getting official as a Dudist priestess through the city of St. Augustine. We will find out if I will be able to be accepted as an ordained minister through the Church of the Latter-day Dude. I am hoping that it is something that can get approved so that I can legally do weddings. I think that would be fantastic. What if I did them as a mermaid? How awesome would it be to marry you in my mermaid tail? I'm also doing a couple other tests with the universe and seeing where things go. I have no attachment or no sincerely desirable outcomes. I am simply in the hands of the universe at this time. I'm actually in the process of leaving my acupuncturist. This has been a very trying time for my spirit with the death of my grandma and my father being ill, and also with everything that my mother is going through. So my heart has been in shock, and it was confirmed today under the examination of my acupuncturist. According to my pulse diagnosis, I am liver blood deficient and heart blood deficient. My heart is in shock, or there's heart shock. I never even knew that this was like an acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine thing that was actually noticeable through the tongue diagnosis and the pulse diagnosis. And we did a needle point that was directly on my heart, which is a point that I had done to myself by myself at a time before. So it was very enlightening to have it done professionally by my acupuncturist, taking me on a journey within myself. And as soon as the needlework had occurred, a great release of crying had happened. Something else that was also pretty fascinating is, for the first time at my acupuncture center, there was children. And these children were like screaming and like running around. And part of me just felt like they were channeling the energy I needed to release. It did not feel safe or childlike enough to simply just allow them to come out. So while other people may have gotten annoyed and irritated by these loud sounds while being under the needle, I had found it very resonating, and it had me in this level of meditation where I was wondering if this happens in the universe quite frequently. So I've also been interested in excessively disconnecting from everyone's energy I possibly can and taking a break from the cell phone. So it's possible that you will not be able to reach me for a while. I will be still updating my websites for those of you who are participants there and showing financial support in this way, no matter what I post and update, and that your love is not conditional upon me, and that you simply care about my health and overall well-being. I'm very thankful for your generosity and you taking me under your wing and treating me like I am your family, especially those of you who do not have family and can witness yourself as myself. I'm very humble to know you and to connect to your energy. Now, at the present moment, I am very, very hungry. And I found out that what I've been eating is not what's most appropriate. I mean, I could have told you that. I mean, with the holidays, I just have not been the best. My soul is also in great need of more Indian cooking. So I would like to practice the art of cooking like these lineages. I have also fantasized of working in that restaurant known as Namaste for free in exchange of learning the recipes. However, I doubt that they would ever exchange such a thing, though you do miss all the chances you do not take. So perhaps as a joke, I could plant a seed of intention offering my desire to be of great assistance to them. I just need to be eating like that every single day, and my meal that I normally get is $15, and many times I am still hungry after, so I would enjoy to get a second dish, or additionally I enjoy getting little side things such as their naan, their special bread, or their dessert, halwa, that I love so much, the carrot halwa. I love that very much, and oh how I love her chai. I have yet to find anyone who makes a chai such as she, the lovely Patricia, the owner of Namaste, her and her husband. I've been in this great funk of depression, and I've been working very, very hard not to show it. However, it has come to me today by the Great Spirit to maintain honesty and to be raw and be real and to not be a hypocrite and to not just mask. I have kind of been focusing on manifesting videos of play and manipulating energy, if you will, and I am not feeling it is most appropriate. I am thankful to those of you who have been sending generous donations, even though I haven't been doing updates to here. Cash is always king, and I always enjoy getting random surprises of donations of cash, no matter how small. Especially those of you who have been sending contributions in exchange for my personal energy work on you. I'm very thankful for those of you who have trusted me to do long distance Reiki on you, and that have felt the power of spirit and of connecting to your own self and the power within you to heal yourself and to listen to your body, not your mind. I've come to realize that many that I have been witnessing and working with have identical trauma to me, and they have not revealed themselves to me on a verbal level, or should I say a deep emotional level, like they haven't broken down crying to me and telling me all these things. However, my soul has felt these imprints, and there has been this magnetism drawing us closer together. Or you could say the power of the universe, or the power of polarities. It's been quite unique and magnificent. I'm very much so looking forward to taking George to the doctor. So I am doing my best to regather my energy and no longer be in this funk of depression and stuck in the narratives of the suffering of my family and of myself, and attempting to gather myself to be strong enough to put in the work ethic. And something that Spirit has been revealing to me is how important it is for me to just simply do the work and not so much worry about the money, and know that the money will follow as long as I do the work. However, I also learned first-handedly this morning, reminding me to know my own personal boundaries, because I had done a reading and an energetic exchange with someone who was in a very low level and did not reciprocate or even ask for the reading or the energy. And I was left feeling extremely ill because I had taken on more than I could handle. I did not recognize how deep their wounds were and how deep their ancestral trauma was. However, I did my best with what I could. Their donation was $15, and honestly, it's better than nothing. And for me, it's a principle that they show that they genuinely mean what they say and that they are invested in their own personal healing. However, some of them are just so dark. Like they have evil thinking, like they have such hatred and judgments towards others that they have no peace within themselves. All they want to do is fight and hurt and to attack, and they have no understanding of how to be gentle and how to touch. For me, as a translation, I would say that they are out of touch with their divine feminine. And I mean, this is even happening within men. And honestly, women, I am totally yin deficient, which is why I have such dominant yang energy at times. And at times I am even more dominant than males. And I do not... How do I say this? At some levels, I do believe that this is intentional. The demasculization and the destruction of the divine feminine. And this is happening on an ancestral level. So we can make the example, let's say that your great-grandmother had trauma with doctors. So now every time you go to the doctor, you get an extreme high blood pressure. Even though you've never had a bad experience at the doctor, your personal self. This is called epigenetic memory in the science community. And I understand that some of my terms are too painful to process and to register into your consciousness, because this is not something that you are necessarily studying. However, I am here to let you know that you are very capable of learning if you will take the time to listen. Feel free to restart this, or feel free to ask questions in the comments. I'll be more than happy to spell things out so that you can do your own homework and research. Maybe listen to some YouTube videos if that's a good way for you to learn and to process information. Or if you wish to read some online scientific journals, or it's really up to you how you choose. All I can do is hold space for you and allow you to know what I am receiving. There are many of you that I have sent personal, private messages to, sending you particular websites or opportunities for you, shall you choose to walk with me. It is a great fire inside. You understand? Sometimes we must burn away who we are not to access everything that we are. And at times there can be competition and jealousy and great struggles to identify who we really are, and sometimes it takes the outside world. Oh my God, I just saw a JOI rehabilitation center. Very few of you will know what JOI is, but oh my God! I think that's funny. If you need JOI, let me know. They are $1,000. Otherwise, the instructions will be, you are not allowed to do this. No release. You must learn to channel your energy and to find your happiness and your escape in an alternate method. Oh. I can be quite a strict teacher at times. However, with your clear communication of your boundaries and how you feel and what your addictions are and what makes you happy and what your escapes are, we can have compromise. We can have a co-creation, kind of like the Jedis. Instead of taking what we want with force and manipulation. I am huge into consent. I have the intention of making a video about what is dominance and what is submission. So many people do not recognize how they are falling submissive to their bosses or submissive to their spouses, and that they are choosing to give away their own power, and that they may be in a domestic violent relationship and not even know it. Their soul knows it because they are very upset, or they wish to run away, or they are using poor coping mechanisms, or over-exercising, overeating, overindulging in the senses, or numbing themselves out. I am here to hold a space for you to assist you to get off of drugs and alcohol and all of your forms of addiction, which may also include your telephone. Many are addicted to their smartphones or addicted to cigarettes. I am in the process of gathering information, especially books that I can share with others. As stated before, I'm in the process of generating a library. However, that is probably one of the hardest things to move. You understand? So, as I pass through locations and pass through the universe, sometimes books are the heaviest. So sometimes it's better to just anchor and be this information instead of throwing a book at somebody. However, at the same time, if the human being is not willing to invest and pay the $18 or $50 or whatever the book costs, then they just are genuinely not interested in their own healing. I've also noticed that there are many who give away their energy and do good deeds, and then they become miserable if they do not get a thank you. Like they need to be validated. Please do not give your energy away. Do not do things for free. Do not offer your services for free if you are going to be resentful towards the other because you allowed them to cross your boundary. That's disgusting. I won't lie, I have been in that disgusting feeling where I had given too much and I felt like, wow, and I could only blame myself for crossing my own boundary and bearing a witness to my self-loathing or self-neglect or self-abandonment. I would like to share with you some of Uncle Frank Mullins, or American Kickboxers, or should I say Izzy High. I would like to share some of his quotes, okay? He says, I can only speak from what I've lived through. I lived there, I don't live there anymore. That's one of my favorite lines, is that I don't live there anymore. So we can remember and reflect upon places where we've been, where we allowed people to take advantage of us, or we've been in abusive relationships, or we were powerless over our addictions. And then the real power comes when we realize that we are the problem, and that the problem remains in our minds, in our likes and our dislikes. And a lot of this can only happen with mindfulness and meditation and being able to witness ourselves and watch the process. There's so much neglect, and you can see it when you ignore people or you sit in silence. You do not know how to mother someone. You do not know how to father someone. You do not know how to be stern. And I understand that this can be toxic to necessarily label these energetic imprints as either male or female. However, there is a reason that we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as Shiva and Shakti, or Kundalini energy. There are spiritual ways of interpreting this that can be felt and can only be embodied through being. And then there are scientific ways of addressing these same exact things. However, the path is all the same. We all meet at the same place in the end. The question is, do you really remember? There are many I wanted to say scientist. Though, really, like, they are self-masters and people who are on the path. We all come to the same destination. It's just a divine process of divine timing. It's really difficult to be a translator for this, and it's not something that I can necessarily teach as much as you just have to simply be and become a witness and experience your own personal healing. It can be very depressing when you watch those that you love suffer immensely and that they do not wish to get better. For example, you might see someone you love smoking cigarettes, and they choose not to treat themselves better. Or let's say someone's diabetic and they consistently choose to use food as an outlet instead of healing their emotional wounds that cause them to escape themselves. Mainly because sometimes they do not have a story for why they're sad. You do not need to know a story for why you're sad as much as you need to just close your eyes, disconnect from electronics and all sounds and all human beings, and simply tune in. Where do you think that Timothy Leary got this whole like tune out and drop in stuff? Okay? Like there's a reason all of that error had occurred. Perhaps none of this has ever occurred to you, or perhaps you have surpassed this level of consciousness and are capable of recognizing this. Where I come into play is I enjoy being a guide. Some of you have very dark narratives or negative self-talk or very traumatic past, and you've worked with therapists and just simply no one really felt you. You feel me? Like that. And I'm simply a space holder, and I like to consider myself basically like a motherboard. I understand I am so much more than my narratives, and that I have great energy to provide. However, what good is what I have to offer if you do not make use of what I have to offer? I have not done all this self-work to simply allow the suffering to continue around me, so when I witness myself and the other, I wish to be of service. My soul is miserable when I am not of service. I do not necessarily do it for the money, so I am often helping others for free. Just again, that personal boundary thing, you know, sometimes I just give way too much and then I don't get a payout. Other than the painful lessons of learning my boundaries, or of learning who is just a toxic individual who's going to continue to take my energy and ask me to focus all of my energy and attention on them and be with them privately, and then abuse me saying, "Why won't you be my friend?" True friends do not constantly need something from you. They're your friend because they love you, not because they need you to take care of them. That is simply codependency. There's much more lessons to come. Ho'oponopono. I love you, Jabagwan. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I understand you are very angry, you are very sad. This is a great time of letting go, and all of your wounds are coming up. They're coming up time and time again. They are coming up so that they can be released. Simply allow yourself to hear yourself. No one else will hear you until you will hear you. Take time to be with your emotions instead of numbing yourself out and constantly escaping the feeling. Be gentle with yourself and preserve your personal energy, and I will be doing the same.